for the family and ministry teaching for practical Christian living. Awesome Radio.
WECU 1570 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina.
Hi, this is Minister Andrew Davis. Are you overwhelmed with the cares of life? Are you stressed and don't know what to do? Does your spirit need encouragement? If the answer is yes, then tune in to Sound Biblical Truth on Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. and Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. Again, Sound Biblical Truth on Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. and Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. It will be food for your spirit and encouragement to your soul. And remember, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Have a safe and victorious week. God bless you. Oh, y'all do apologize. Y'all don't even know if I had my mic on or not. But anyway, if I didn't, it'd be fine. Um, we want to make sure that everything and all that we do, and we want to make sure that we just don't lose the drive in the pursuit of our dreams, in the pursuit of us fulfilling our purpose. We don't want to lose the drive. And before I get into the scripture, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself before we get back into what we would, finish up what we were talking about on the last program. Um, Somebody might ask a question, Minister Davis, what do I do? What do I do when I start off passionate and somewhere down the line, further up the road, I begin to just lose sight, or I'm not as energetic or enthusiastic about it? I start off with my plan at the beginning of the year because that's just what society and we program ourselves to do. But somewhere down the line, I had a lot of ambition when I started off, but for some reason, not farther on the road, I began to have different feelings about it. I began to not be as driven, or I'm not as focused as I once was. How do I handle that? And I'm gonna deal with that before we get into the scripture. I'm gonna deal with that. Okay. Number one, you have to be determined. Excitement and determination is two different things. I could be excited about something. It's almost like you riding a roller coaster. I've been in many theme parks with my kids over the years, and I'm gonna just talk to y'all for a minute tonight. So just bear with me, and then we're gonna get into the scripture. It's almost like a roller coaster. Okay. When I get on that roller coaster, I'm very excited. I'm very excited. And when I get on a roller coaster and get off, whether I had fun or liked it or not, the next time I do it, it's not the same as it was as the first time. It's not the same. Okay. So my point is this. You have to find out some kind of way to be determined. If I'm getting on that roller coaster again over and over again, and if for some reason it's just something just off, I'm going to be, look, I got to get in my mind. I'm determined before I get on this thing. I'm going to enjoy this ride. I'm not going to let nothing, I know how many times I've been on it, or a movie. I know how many times I've seen it, but I'm going to just get excited about this all over again. You can't, you can't survive, and you can't fulfill your purpose or fulfill your dreams just off of excitement, because excitement fades out. And when excitement fades out, determination is what's going to have to kick in. Well, how do I get determination? No one can teach you how to have determination. You got to be self-driven. You have to find a way to do this yourself. I don't know what your method is. You might have a method of, okay, you know what? I'm going to make sure before I go to bed, I'm going to read this. I'm going to put my goals in front of me. When I get up, I'm going to put my goals in front of me. In the middle of the day, my lunch break, I'm going to find something. If I'm determined to open my business, don't waste time. Every second that you have, that you can invest or put in toward what you're trying to accomplish, what your goals are, you need to use it. The biggest thing that distracts people, like I say, somebody say, man, Mr. Davis, I wish you'd go in and get into the word. I'm just going to take my time and talk for a minute. Okay, the biggest thing is when you have those times where you're driven about something and you're excited about doing something. What helps develop determination is when you constantly have it in front of you. The problem is let's say, again, I want to go back to school. I want to go back to college. I want to get my master's degree. Okay. If your dead time, what are you doing with your dead time? What are you doing when you're not working, or you're not on your job, or you're not, taking care of whatever the needs are in life? What are you doing in your off time? What are you doing when you're idle? Are you still here strolling through social media feeds? Are you strolling through short reels on YouTube, or are you binge watching on Netflix, or you binge watching on Amazon Prime? What are you doing with your downtime? In order for you to build determination, every minute, every second that you have to spare is constantly invested in, okay, I have what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to go back to school. I'm trying to get a master's degree. Whatever your dream is or your plan is. Okay, first you have to say, okay, now, wow, I'm off work now and I don't have anything to do for the next couple of hours. What am I going to do? That's a good question. Let me, Minister David, tell you what you're going to do, what you need to be doing. You need to be researching online, okay? If I know I want to go back to school and my plan is to, within the next 3 years, have my master's degree, or 2 years, or whatever the case may be, let's see how I can look online, search online to get funding. Let's see how I can research online, how to manage my time so that I can make sure I got time to study. Let's go ahead and make sure I'm researching, do I want to even do this? Is this whatever my goal is to pursue for a master's degree, what do I want to get my master's in? Okay, if that's the case, let me try to research and read the profession that I want to go in. Okay, what are the statistics of success? How demanding is that? Okay, what are some of the best schools I can go to? What are some of the best resources, that can help me accomplish whatever I'm trying to accomplish? And when you ask yourself all those questions, and you're constantly training your mind to say, okay, well, look, this is what and the more you do that, and the more you spend time, and the more you gain knowledge about what your particular vision is, or your dream, or your goal is, the better you are going to become. The more likely you are going to succeed in achieving your goal, and the better you are going to become within the process. The problem is we allow ourselves to be distracted too much. We allow ourselves to be distracted by Facebook. We allow ourselves to be distracted by social media. We allow ourselves to be distracted by our phones in general, texting people. Think about it. Look, if you keep failing, if somebody's watching this and somebody's saying to themselves, I keep failing. I know God has given this vision. I know I have this passion about this. Or I know this is just in general. This is just a couple of goals that I know of things that I have that I want to accomplish. Ask yourself a question. You go from, let's say, Monday through Sunday. And at the end of Sunday, the end of the day, I need you to really go back and look and say, hey, what did I do with my off time? What did I do with my spare time? And I want you to think about it. I want you to calculate how much time you spend on Facebook, how much time you spend on YouTube, how much time you spend on Instagram, how much time you spent streaming, whether it be Netflix, whether it be Tubi, whether it be Pluto, whatever the things is. We got Paramount. They got hundreds of them now, streaming services. What did I do with my time? Okay, because the answer you come up with, and also texting, how much time did I spend texting? What did I do with the time that I had that I wasn't working or trying to take care of my family or doing things that I know I need to do? Ask yourself a question. What did I do during those moments? And you have to understand that I cannot build anything if I'm not dedicated to it. The most successful people in the world, I'll give you a good example. Colonel Sanders, that made Popeye's chicken. He went through hours and hours of R&D. Some of you might not know who R&D is. It's called research and development. Okay? He was constantly trying to perfect. He had this little pressure cooker. Now, I wish you can, if you're watching this, go back and look at that story about how Colonel Sanders or Harlan Sanders got started with KFC. He had built this pressure cooker. He invented this pressure cooker that cooks chicken in a certain amount of time. And not only that, he spent hours upon hours. I don't know how much time he spent trying to perfect the chicken itself, the seasoning, the so-called 11 herbs and spices. Okay? Now, once he did that, once he mastered that, he went from place to place selling chicken. And what he did was he said, look, every piece of chicken you sell, I want a couple of cents. I want a royalty off of every single piece of chicken you sell that I've given you the pressure cooker and I've given you the ingredients or whatever, but every piece of my chicken that you sell, I want a little small piece of it. But my point is, he started off with not a lot of resources, not a lot of money, but somewhere down the line, he had to be determined. They keep messing up and they keep doing trial and error again, over and over again, hours upon hours and upon hours. Now here it is, over half a century later, the whole world is still buying KFC, buying his chicken. The whole planet is buying it. And he started in one place, the hometown where he was at, in Kentucky. So the point I'm trying to make, none of this makes sense, and none of this would mean anything. None of you watching this program would mean anything. None of you talking about this if you're not determined that you're gonna do about that you're gonna see this thing through, and that you're in it to the end. If your mindset is, okay, I'm gonna start this out, but if it really don't work out the way I want it to go, I can always quit. If that's your mindset going into it, you've already lost, no matter what you're trying to do in this new year of 2025. If your mindset is, if it don't work, I can always just go do something else. Your mindset got to be, look, I'm going to be all in. I hate saying this generation, but I have to, because the thing is, this generation, and I'm going to get into the last part of scripture, but I just feel like this is important for me to say. This generation does not have endurance. It does not have tenacity. The thing is, I see very few young people, and some older or middle age, whatever, that's determined to see anything through. You start something and then you quit. You begin something, you quit. Why is that? Because the thing is, I don't know if it's fear of failure. I don't know if the commitment is not there from the beginning. Nobody really throws their whole self at anything. I'm going to put everything I got into it. It's kind of a halfway casual. You know what? Maybe I'll do this or maybe I'll do that. Whenever you throw your whole self at anything, and that, the blessing is there. Oh, look, I oftentimes talk about the children of Israel, and I'm not going to go to scripture because my time is just moving. The children of Israel understand something. The promise was already there. When God came and pulled them out of Egypt, by the grace of God, he delivered them from out of Egypt by many infallible miracles. One thing God had the power to cause the 10 plagues. He had the power to harden Pharaoh's heart. He had the power to split the Red Sea so they can walk through. When they were surrounded from the back, when they were being invaded, when the Egyptian was coming from the back. But one thing God could not do is change their mindset. This would have to be something personal. And no matter how much we teach, no matter how much you get excited about hearing about success and accomplish your dreams and accomplish your goals, it's going to take a different mindset in order for you to do so. Joseph here had a dream. But in the midst of him having a dream, let's go ahead and go to that in just a second. But in the midst of him having a dream, he had to have a certain kind of mindset to get him from where he was to the fulfillment of what he saw in the dream, to the dream being made manifest or to fulfill it or being fulfilled. The children of Israel, because of their mindset, they kept walking the same circle over and over again. The promise was already there. The land of Canaan was already there. The blessing, the land flowing milk was already there, but God was waiting on them. Now, my question is, in between from where you are now and where you're trying to get, are you going to murmur and complain when stuff doesn't go the way you want it to go? Are you going to quit just like it did? And many of them died in the wilderness. And some of them literally said, if you go back and look at the scripture, that it was better for us to stay in Egypt. It was better for me. Because why did they say that? Why would you say that? God has went through all this trouble to deliver you. and to bring you out. And you say in your mind, well, I might as well just go back and get a job. Or I might as well just go back to the place I know I'm familiar with. See, don't let familiarity block you from where you need to be at. Let me go ahead and just read the scripture, okay? Last time, if I'm not mistaken, we stopped at verse 9, okay? And I'm going to read verse 9. We're talking about Joseph. I don't have much time, but we're going to use the time I have to finish this up, okay? And it said, he dreamed yet another dream and told his brethren and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and 11 stars made ambience to me, okay? So going back to recap, Joseph began to tell his brother, he was younger then, his brother was older than what he was. He began to tell him about a dream about how he was there were sheaves, and he was standing in the middle of them, and they were all of them were sheaves, but he was standing in the middle, and all of them had to bow to him. And they began to say, man, what does this mean? You think you the younger brother, we think we're gonna serve you? But in verse 9, now here in verse 9 is, Joseph was telling yet another dream. Now, mind you, as I brought up last time, they wasn't happy about the first thing he said. They didn't want to receive the first thing he was saying. They weren't receptive or happy about the first comment he made about the first dream. But now he told them another dream. Okay, and verse 10 says, and he told it to his father and to his brother, and his father rebuked them and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and my mother and our brethren indeed come and bow ourselves down to thee to the earth? And even his father didn't understand. Look, this particular passage keep going back to the same thing. Everybody's not going to embrace your dream. Sometimes you dream something, you need to dream big. If God's placed purpose in your life or purpose you to do something, you need to think real big. Don't limit yourself. Now, when you think big like that, people are not going to be receptive because you're talking above their level. As I said the last time, let's say, and his brethren, envy him. But his father observed the same. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said unto them, here am I. And he said unto him, go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, what seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, they are departed hence. For I said to them, let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. Okay? Now, let's skip down to verse 23. And it came to pass when Joseph was coming to his brethren that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread. And they lifted up their eyes and looked. And behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to read this whole thing because I don't have the time. But their brothers were so jealous, envied him so bad, that they sold him pretty much into slavery. They threw him into the pit. The scripture said the pit didn't have no water. They eventually came and got him out of the pit and said, look, we'll just sell him. We might as well make some money off him. And that was his own brother. Now, I said all this to say this, and man, this is a whole nother program when you talk about envy. I know some people are innocent in what they're saying. I know some people are very innocent in saying somebody what their plan is or what they're trying to accomplish or what they're trying to do. But there's this strong thing called envy that drives people to try to stop you or to speak negatively about what you're doing or to say, oh, you shouldn't try that. You shouldn't do that. Look, the scripture said earlier, Joseph's father, he pondered it. Even though he said, what do you mean? We're going to all bow down to you and we're going to all kneel to the earth? But eventually his father said, wait a minute. He thought about it. He pondered. Maybe this is the case. Maybe we just don't understand. I said all this to say what? Be careful of who you allow to go in the process with you. Everybody that you're trying to bring endeavors on, whether you start a business, whether you're trying to go back to school, whether you're trying to organize something in your community, no matter what the case may be, everybody is not always for you. And when you're bringing people in your circle, guard your dream. The name of the program is Embrace the Dream. Embrace the dream to the point to where you're not going to let anybody in any kind of way. The Bible says, watch as well as pray. And when you're watching and you have your eyes open, be prayerful. Say, Lord, I want you to send people who are supposed to be here. I want you to send people who are supposed to be with me. I don't want to let, while I'm on this process, anybody in this circle that's going to be negative, that's going to be a distraction to me, and that's going to be a hindrance. Because eventually what's going to happen is they'll end up killing your dream. I can't imagine how many people's dreams have been killed by somebody who they allowed to come into their circle that did not mean them well, that did not mean them well, or that was jealous or was covetous. I can't even imagine. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the program. I just hope you much success in 2025, and that we'll continue to keep God first. If you want to donate to the ministry, I have the Cash App. If this ministry is a blessing to you, donate to the ministry. The Cash App is $SRRDAV3. And if you need prayer or church fellowship, give them a call on the screen, 252-327-7709. God bless you, and see you next time. Hi, this is Minister Andrew Davis. Are you overwhelmed with the cares of life?